I am the CEO of Stallion Uranium Corp. Have been for 14 months now. And I'm just going to jump right past the disclaimer and get into it because I know we're running out of time right now. So let's start off with why uranium. I think we are the only uranium company at the conference this weekend. So just to give you a little bit of background, the market is drastically undersupplied. Over the past few years, we have seen an unprecedented rise in the growth for demand with uranium around the world. And it's based on multiple factors, but to really put it into perspective, based on current projections, 10 to 15 years from now, we're looking at up to a 200 million pound per year deficit. That's rather significant, considering that the most recent high-grade deposit going into production is 348 million pounds. That's only a year and a half of that deficit. So the only way in my mind to fix this problem is by making new high-grade discoveries. So how does a company like Stallion do that? Well, to me, there's three critical factors that go into that equation. The first one is land package. If you're not in the right place, you're wasting your time. So if you want to find high-grade uranium, look at the highest grade jurisdiction in the world, the Athabasca Basin of northern Saskatchewan, Canada. Typically, we produce 20 times higher grades than anywhere else on the planet. Currently, the Athabasca is responsible for just shy of 20% of the world's supply. And Stallion Uranium holds 1,700 square kilometers of nearly untouched ground, sandwiched between some of the highest grade deposits in the world, including Centennial, Triple R, Arrow, and Shea Creek. So we have the land. The second factor is a team. You want a group of people who's done this before and done it successfully. So between myself and my VP Exploration, Darren Sadowski, we've been part of 3 high-grade discoveries in less than a 10-year span, including Arrow, Spitfire, and Gemini. So we've been there, we've done that. We're geologists at heart, and we love what we do. Beyond that, our head of IR, Knox Henderson, he spent over 25 years in the capital markets arena helping raise money for companies just like ours. He was part of the sale of Great Bear Resources to Kinross for $1.8 billion. And we keep building up our team with professionals to make sure that we're being accountable and spending our money and making our shareholders comfortable with what we're doing. So we just brought on Peter Dembicki, the CEO of Tier 1 Silver, as our newest director. Most recent addition being Paulo Santos, our CFO, also part of some very big sales in his career. But again, making sure that we're being accountable going forward. So this is not our first rodeo. We've gone through this process. We've done this before. The third thing that we need is arguably the most important. We need money. So when I came on as CEO 14 months ago, I was tasked with 4 simple things: restructure the company to clean up the capital structure, refinance the company so that we can aggressively explore, reprioritize all of our exploration assets so that we're spending our money, again, more responsibly, and then get out there and do our job and find a deposit. So we've pulled all this together. As you can see, we've got 21 million plus in the bank right now. We've gone from a sub 10 million market cap to a 55 to $56 million market cap in a very short time frame. 45% of our company is held by management and insiders, which I think is a very strong testament to the faith that these people have in us. They followed us from Hathor to NextGen through most of our successes in our careers, and they have faith that we're going to do it again. So as you can see, the market's responded. The share price is indicative of that. And now that we've just kicked off drilling, now's when things start to get exciting. Just as a quick comparison here, some of the peers in the industry in the Athabasca Basin, the 2 that I want you to focus on are NextGen and ISO Energy. You can see where they sit right now at over a $10 billion market cap and over a $1 billion market cap. Those companies were built off of 1 discovery each. Both of them were trading in the 30 to 40 cent range when those discoveries were made. And I like to say that it's based off of 1 discovery. And I'll tell you why in the next slide. I truly believe, based on our land package and based on the unexplored nature of it, where it sits in between high-grade deposits, we truly have the ability to make multiple discoveries on this land package in a short period of time, especially with our track record and the support that we have from our shareholders with our funding going forward. So that's why I think it's so significant. If you're curious about why our land package is unexplored, you can see on the map there's a highway going up the west side of that basin and 2 highways going up the east side of the basin. Historically speaking, all the exploration that was really done within a 50-kilometer corridor of those highways for cost efficiency. It makes sense. But after we made the discoveries at Arrow, at Triple R, at Spitfire, now they're putting in infrastructure for a mine and mill that gives us a road right to the center of our land location, which allows us to operate at the same cost per meter to make these new discoveries that was never available before. So this is a virgin opportunity with great upside potential. So as we go through this exploration program, again, me and my VP Exploration, Darren, we've worked together at multiple companies. We share an exploration mentality, and we go through a very, very strict 14-step ranking criteria for every square kilometer of ground we have. It's empirical, it's statistical, it takes emotion out of the equation. Like, we've done this before, but it really comes down to 4 things that I like to explain to people to show them why we're so excited about our flagship target right now. And I'll use our flagship as we go through this process. So what we're looking at right now is an airborne magnetic map. What this shows is the first key criteria is lithology. You need to have the right rock type. So what you see in those blues and greens are metasedimentary packages. They're rich in graphite and sulfides, which is important. The pinks and the reds and the oranges, those are igneous intrusives. So they come up through the Precambrian rock, they start the hydrothermal process, they get the fluids in motion. The second thing we look for is actually kind of hard to see in this map, and I need to update it. Those black lines that you see converging right at the center of the Coyote target. Those are regional structural pathways. We want to see structural complexity because it opens up those fluid pathways, but it also gives you dilation in the rock to actually accommodate the precipitation of uranium. So that's important. The third thing we look for are those green lines coming in, converging at that exact same point of the structural convergence. Those are the strong conductors that come from those graphites in the metasediments. That's actually your reducing atmosphere. So as those uranium-rich fluids are coming across the unconformity, coming through those faults, they hit that reducing atmosphere, they precipitate out. Most importantly, you want to see a break in those conductors. So if you can see up there, there's 3 of them coming in right to the center. They break right in the middle. The reason for that is as that chemical reaction takes place, it actually consumes the graphite. It eats it up. You don't want to see it anymore. So when we see those 3 things line up, I'm sorry if I'm getting too technical, but as you see those 3 things line up, us as geologists, we get really excited. We go and do one more thing. So this is the 4th criteria, and it's arguably the most important. This is what's called a ground gravity survey. Again, as that chemical reaction takes place, it actually changes the dense Precambrian rock to soft clay. You can cut it with a butter knife. So this picks up a density contrast in the Precambrian rock. So you want to see a huge bullseye where you see a density change from the surrounding rock to what your target area is. And as you can see, the bullseye lined up almost perfectly on top of those other 3 convergences. So yeah, again, we were pretty excited about this. We went one step further. We did what's called a 3D gravity inversion. So when we look at targeting uranium, the more chaos, the better. We want to see complexity across the board because it just means there's more things in motion. There's more fluids moving around. There's more interaction between those different horizons. Everything comes together, and that's why the Athabasca Basin is so unique, because it has all of these factors. Most places do not. So what this does is it actually removes the influence of the 400 meters of sandstone on top of it, shows you exactly what's happening at the target surface. What we came up with was that the target was larger and more vertically continuous than we originally thought, and we bounced this off of multiple geophysical companies, and they all came back and said, yeah, there's something there. You have to drill this thing. So now we have 5 targets across an 8.5 kilometer corridor, which is really important in the Athabasca Basin. And that's where we just kicked off drilling. We have 2 rigs turning right now. That's what we've worked the last 14 months to get to. And that's where we sit. This one really puts it in perspective for people that don't understand the Athabasca Basin. So what you see on the right-hand, these maps are the exact same scale. What you see on the right-hand side is actually the gravity data that we used to find the Arrow discovery in February of 2014. Under that purple circle, you see that little red outline underneath the star? That's the projection of 348 million pounds of uranium brought to surface, showing how small of a footprint it actually takes. On the left side, you see the Coyote target with the same intersection of regional structures, the same conductors coming in, breaking in the middle, and an alteration halo that is 5 times larger and 5 times more intense. So that's why we pushed so hard to get to this target, and this is only one of the 9 Tier 1 targets that we have. We are fully funded. We're moving forward aggressively. At the same time, we're kicking off geophysical surveys across several of our other Tier 1 targets, because at the end of this drilling program, I want to have at least 4 targets at the same level of confidence so that we can drill from now till end of October. I want to maximize those chances of making multiple discoveries, not just one, across this virgin land package to really increase that upside potential. So that's where we sit right now. Bring it all back together. As I said, we have a team that has done this before. This is not our first rodeo. We've gone through 3 discoveries. I think our group has probably been part of $6 billion worth of company sales through our careers. We have a huge untouched land package in the highest grade uranium jurisdiction in the world, and we are fully funded, fully permitted, and moving forward aggressively. So if you have any questions, please feel free to stop by our booth. Our team would be happy to answer them. Enjoy the rest of the conference.